Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today we're going to be talking about the Black Ops 3 beta on PC. How it plays, how it performs, is it fun, is it a good PC game, or a shitty console port? And before I get into the nitty gritty details of everything, check out this shotgun spree. I just beasted up this round, and I gotta say this game makes me feel like a badass more so than pretty much any other shooter out there. You can wall run, jump off the wall, shoot somebody in the face with a shotgun, throw down a trip mine, you can do all this crazy stuff lickety-split very fast, and it makes you feel like a total badass. Tactical shooter? Perhaps not. More of an arena shooter for sure, but if that's your thing, then you might actually have a lot of fun playing this game. Now, of course, the first thing I had to do when starting up Black Ops 3 on PC is check out the menu. What kind of settings do we have available? That's right away a telltale whether or not something's going to be a crappy PC port or a legitimate PC game, and I was pleasantly surprised by the amount of options that I saw, at first anyway. We had a field of view slider, a nice array of resolutions and refresh rates for any kind of monitor that you might be using, a full-on tweak guide for individual graphic settings, a mouse sensitivity scaler that allowed you to enter decimal points so you could get your mouse sensitivity spot on, and of course the option to turn off mouse acceleration and mouse filtering. One thing the game lacks though is the ability to adjust your sensitivity between aiming down sights and hipfire. A lot of shooters these days are including this option now so that players can customize it to their liking. Since so many games choose different ratios, it can be a bit daunting switching from shooter to shooter. All in all, the menu options seem pretty promising, indicating that this was actually going to be a pretty decent PC game. However, when I joined the first multiplayer round of Black Ops 3, I had extreme mouse input lag. I'm talking like maybe even a quarter-second input lag, where you turn your mouse one way or another to try and track a target, and it only updates after you move the mouse, like about a quarter-second afterwards, which makes the game essentially unplayable. Now, generally speaking, if there's an input lag issue in an FPS game, it has something to do with vertical sync, anti-aliasing. I kind of went through all the basic stuff that are the obvious candidates. But what it actually turned out to be was that I couldn't run the game at a 1440p resolution. I had to lower it down to 1080p resolution before it got rid of the input lag, which was really weird and kind of disappointing considering that I just bought this brand new awesome monitor, and I'd love to see Call of Duty at 1440p res. Now, yes, this is a beta of Black Ops 3 and the drivers are not finalized, so in the final version I would fully expect to be able to play 1440p with zero input lag issues. However, this was not the end of my issues with Black Ops 3 and getting it to run properly. Once I was satisfied that most of the input lag was gone, I played a few rounds and noticed that I was having a really hard time tracking targets and just hitting people consistently. Turns out that my sensitivity was fluctuating a lot in game, and this is not a new issue for Call of Duty on PC. Advanced Warfare had it, and a few previous Call of Duty titles as well. Basically, the way that the Call of Duty engine works, to my understanding, is that your mouse sensitivity is largely tied into your frame rate, which is a terrible way to do things on PC because PC games have fluctuating frame rates, especially depending on your hardware and how the game is optimized or your custom graphic settings. You could fluctuate from 60 frames per second to 90 frames per second, which means that in this game your sensitivity is going to dynamically change with that, which is the worst fucking thing you can do to an FPS. It is just unforgivably stupid and poorly designed. Now, fortunately, there's a lot of people trying to get this game to run well on PC, and there's a lot of forums on Reddit and just around the internet talking about fixes to try and improve performance and get the game to run more stably. And I'm not just talking about not crashing, but actually having a stable mouse sensitivity. One of the fixes is to basically stabilize your PC frame rate. And to do this, there's actually an option in the game settings to cap your frame rate at a certain level. So turn the graphics down till you can get as max FPS as possible, figure out where it's fluctuating between, and cap it at that level. I cap mine at 90 FPS, and you can see in the top right corner that it's fluctuating between like the mid to low 80s and then 90, and this means that it's not going to fluctuate with my sensitivity as much as it was before. It still fluctuates a little bit, it's just not as drastic and allows me to be a bit more precise. That being said, I think the game still feels like garbage. And the more I play it, the more I realize how much of a console port this game is rather than redesigning aspects of the game so that it works well on PC. Aside from just having crappy peripheral input code, there's also a lot of game mechanics that are designed clearly around auto-aim. One of them is the massive flinching that you receive when you actually take fire from an enemy. On PC, this takes your crosshair way off target and is essentially going to lose you a firefight. You get shot mid-firefight, it's pretty much game over for you because you're going to miss your next 5 to 10 shots on your enemy and they're going to kill you in that period of time. This is a terrible mechanic on PC. On console, from what I've read, I haven't played Black Ops on console yet, but apparently the auto-aim helps really compensate for the flinching mechanic, and it's not as big of an issue there. Another aspect that's very easy to tell that hasn't really been balanced outside of the console world is some of the power-up weapons that you get with your specialist classes. One of them is called the Annihilator, which is a 6-shooter pistol, you'll see it here in a little bit, that just one-shots enemies. It's incredibly powerful and incredibly good. The way this weapon was balanced on console is they reduced the auto-aim on it, or took off the auto-aim because it was so damn good. People were just one-shotting everyone. They had to make it harder to actually aim and hit your target. On PC though, there is no auto-aim. You don't auto-aim with any weapon, so there's no downside to this handgun, and it's still just incredibly good. And I was using it and getting regularly 3 or even 4 kills with it, and it just seems way too unfair and way better than any of the other specialist abilities. So that part of the game didn't even seem to be touched balance-wise between console and PC, and that's something that really concerns me, is that the game doesn't translate perfectly between console and PC, and it needs a bit of finesse to translate across the console PC gaming world. And supposedly it had a dedicated PC dev team that was developing the PC version at the same time it was developing the console version. I have a really hard time believing how important or integral this PC dev team was, because I've played the game for 6-7 hours now and I've already noticed some major flaws that I think anybody who's a serious PC gamer should have noticed right off the bat. I feel like the dev team was probably just working on translating graphic settings and stuff like that and getting dedicated servers added to the game, and not really focusing on things like actually balancing the game for PC. It feels pretty much untouched. I could be wrong, but just my perception having played the game so far, it really doesn't feel like it was designed around PC gameplay. It seems like it was still built for consoles. Now, despite the fact that this game still feels very much like a console port, it's hard to deny that the underlying game, the game that was designed for the console, is really fun to play. It's visually very nice looking, the gameplay itself is a lot of fun, jumping off of walls, throwing grenades, doing all these really cool acrobatics. It feels awesome when you succeed at them, and I can't deny that Call of Duty Black Ops 3 is probably going to be an excellent console game. But without question, the PC version seems like a lesser experience and definitely not worth a full retail price. Now granted, I'm talking about the beta here, and you guys might be saying, LevelCap, why are you going so crazy on a beta of a game? They'll fix it by launch. Really? Call of Duty Advanced Warfare had all the same issues, and many of them are still not even fixed in the PC version of the game. In addition to that, the mouse sensitivity issue doesn't sound like it's going to be an easy fix, and is probably going to require somebody to actually rewrite the entire way that input devices are read in the game and how sensitivity is controlled in game, and that sounds like it's going to be a fix that's going to take a lot longer than just like a week or two. And of course, it is possible that the final release retail version of this game is going to actually have all these things fixed, and it's going to be great and wonderful, and I'll eat my words right now. And frankly, I hope I do. I want this to be an awesome game. It looks really cool. I just want it to work really well on PC, and I have to say I'm very doubtful of them following through and rewriting the way that some of this game translates over. Now, if you've pre-ordered this game on PC, I would suggest you strongly reconsider that purchase. If you own a console, you may want to buy the game for console instead. I'll be making a video about this game when it launches for retail and updating my impressions on if anything has been fixed or if it actually feels like a solid PC shooter. Just know that if you do hold yourself to higher standards of PC shooter gaming, that you're probably not going to get it, at least not with the beta of Black Ops 3. And as for Treyarch or Activision or whoever's developing the PC version of this game, how the hell do you not see this stuff coming? I mean, I've played it for a couple hours and it feels like garbage. Any person who plays shooters seriously, takes them seriously, and wants a good quality shooter could sit down with this game for a few hours and could tell you that the mechanics of it, the mouse sensitivity, feels extremely bad and that you need to fix it. And if you do, I think you guys have a real winner on your hands, because despite all of my gripes with the way that this feels like a massive console port, it's still damn fun to play, and I would love to play it more. It's just not something that I would consider getting into seriously until it's actually got the quality standards that I would expect from any PC shooter. Anyway, that pretty much wraps it up for this video. Remember, this is a critique on the console port beta version of the game, not a final release of the game, and not the console version of Black Ops 3. As always, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap, signing off.